I wanted to briefly welcome Geshe back to the center. Geshe is continuing his class from previously. We have the two previous classes on our YouTube channel if you missed those. So Geshe is in Australia, but he's also an FPMT touring teacher for many years. So we're really grateful. And he's done a number of classes, a number of wonderful classes for us this year, all of which are also on our YouTube channel. So we're really grateful that Geshe was able to reschedule and continue teaching us in this course. Thank you so much, Geshe.
Thank you, Tenzin, Venerable. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Let me see. Okay. Oh yeah. So thank you, and hope everyone is keeping well. And I also would like to apologize for interrupting the earlier schedule for this teaching due to my need to visit Nepal. So, but then wonderful that we can resume now. So the topic for the course is on Bodhisattva Vow, and we still have some more sessions. So therefore, before going into the actual discussion on the Bodhisattva vows, such as 18 root vows, first beneficial for us to learn the the actual development of bodhichitta. So there are a few ways to introduce this teaching. For this particular course, initially we talk about the benefit of developing bodhichitta. Then after that, I think last session we discussed about the 7 cause and effect to develop bodhichitta. One of the traditional well-established technique to develop bodhichitta. The technique that very much drive from, of course, Lama Atisha, then his guru Lama Selingpa, Asanga, Buddha Maitreya. So then this session, I thought it would be beneficial to introduce another very important established traditional method to develop bodhichitta. That is the 4-point exchanging self with others, Dakshin Nyamje. And this technique drive again a very much close lineage guru, Lama Atisha, and mainly the tradition drive from Shantideva, Nagarjuna, then Manjushri. So today we'll go through briefly on that. the teaching on the Bodhisattva vow, or the practice on the Bodhisattva vows is very much for those who have not developed yet bodhicitta. By taking the Bodhisattva vow, observing those precepts, it helps to gain the Bodhisattva, bodhichitta realizations, and it helps for the development of bodhicitta. Those who have already developed bodhicitta, those who are already practicing on the path of Bodhisattva's 5 paths, such as ordinary Bodhisattva's path, then practicing Bodhisattva vow helped to progress on those stages of path from the basis to the higher level of the path. Then even for those who are already become Arya Bodhisattva, then the objective of developing bodhicitta is to bring benefit to numberless sentient beings. And that also ultimate benefit, that which is leading entire sentient beings in the state of full enlightenment. When you achieve that, you fulfill the purpose of bodhicitta. So therefore, even you are already Arya Bodhisattva, you have not yet fulfilled the complete task of benefiting sentient beings. So therefore, not only fulfilling the complete task of benefiting sentient beings, also not yet fulfill complete task for your own perfection. The perfection state of your ultimate achievement and perfection stage of the ultimate achievement for others is oneself achieving the state of full enlightenment, then performing effectively the work of sentient being, leading them to enlightenment. So therefore, even for Arya Bodhisattva, it requires conducive conditions to develop their bodhicitta along the stages of ground, along the stages of the 10 bhumis, until they actualize Buddhahood. So even for them, practice of Bodhisattva precept or the vows is as crucial as those beginners, as crucial as the Bodhisattva precept practice to those beginners. Then even for some of us who are completely beginner, like like someone like myself, that who is absolutely ordinary, completely under the control of delusion and karma, yet with the blessings and yet with the blessings of the gurus, that get opportunity to hear teachings on the Bodhisattva's conducts, benefits, and the teachings on bodhicitta, great compassion. Then most of all, seeing through your own naked eyes of those of our gurus and those of many, great practitioners, they could be, even among you here, your compassionate life, your dedications of your life for the well-being of numberless sentient beings through, so many different ways of practices that inspired like people like me to really wish to develop steady compassion, then steady great compassion, then eventually, qualified altruistic attitude, the Buddha's mind, the bodhichitta. So even people like me, the practice of Bodhisattva vows is extremely crucial in order for me to achieve all my aspirations in Buddha's path. So the more well that you practice Bodhisattva precept, the faster that you develop compassion. The faster you develop great compassion, faster you develop, altruistic mind. So not only through the altruistic attitude, but because of practicing Bodhisattva vows, it accumulates tremendous merits, and just by having the vows, it start to purify our negativities, especially obscuration in our mind, those delusional obscurations. Because of that, our self-grasping and self-cherishing start to reduce. Because of that, not only easier to develop altruistic attitude, but also it's easier to develop altruistic wisdom on emptiness. So like that. So therefore, first of all, if we know the different ways of technique to develop bodhicitta, then on top of that, then if we have the Bodhisattva vows, then we have the technique, we have the conducive conditions, such as practicing Bodhisattva precepts. At the same time, we have a technique to develop it, such as the 7 cause and effect, or the 4-point exchanging of self and others. So that is the main reason why it is beneficial to discuss about these techniques, before even talking about the actual Bodhisattva precepts. So something like that. So anyway, first here, in order to make this very session to be most beneficial for yourself and for your family and for rest of the numberless sentient beings, the best way to do that is correcting our motivation. So setting again, altruistic inspirational motivation will influence our activities of the session to be altruistic deeds. So therefore, we set that altruistic correct motivation. That also beneficial to do on the basis of refreshing refuge in Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Those of you already have refuge. Those of you who don't have refuge yet in Buddha Dhamma Sangha, then just simply be aware of the positive energy, the positive, the environment, or whatever, the inspirational figure that you usually relate to, feel they're present, then then get inspired, then commit to follow them. So those who have refuge, then simply feel the presence of enlightened, Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, or any Buddhas that you deities, or the different Buddhas, like such as from 35 Buddhas, etc. Feel the presence of them. Then understand that they are enlightened. The qualities are the complete perfected wisdom of emptiness and altruism. That is the Dharma. Then who possess, who cultivate and who possess this quality of altruistic wisdom and altruistic attitude is the Sangha. And you are going under the complete guidance, complete protection, under them. So I will recite the Refuge and Buddhichita prayer. You can recite together if you have the text, Tibetan or English. Otherwise, just simply meditate what I have guided. Sangye Jodon Zoye Jonala, Janju Bado Dani Jasunje, Daji Jinso Jebe Sonam Ye, Dola Benje Sangye Dubarai Jo, Sangye Jodon Zoye Jonala, Janju Bado Dani Jasunje, Daji Jinso Jebe Sonam Ye. Dola Benje Sangye Dubarai Jo, Sangye Jodon Zoye Jonala, Janju Bado Dani Jasunje, Daji Jinso Jebe Sonam Ye. Dola Benje Zanje Dubrajo, Zanje Jodan Zoye Jonala, Chanju Bado Dani Jasunje, Daji Jizo Jebe Sonam. Dola Benje Zanje Dubrajo, for imaginable. Semje Damje Dewadan, Devi Jodan Dembra Juje, Semje Damje Dungadan, Dungaje Jodan Rawa Juje, Semje Damje Dunga, Mebe Dewadan Midawa Juje, Semje Damje Niri Jadan Yedandra. Tanyolan Nebra Juroji, Semje Damje Dewadan, Devi Jodan Dembra Juje, Semje Damje Dungadan, Dungaje Jodan Rawa Juje, Semje Damje Dunga, Mebe Dewadan Midawa Juje. Semje Damje Niri Jadan Yedandra, Tanyolan Nebra Juroji, Semje Damje Dewadan, Devi Jodan Dembra Juje, Semje Damje Dungadan, Dungaje Jodan Rawa Juje. Semje Damje Dunga Mebe Dewadan Midawa Juje, Semje Damje Niri Jadan Yedandra, Tanyolan Nebra Juroji. Kange dojene zone dawa damje bambe jene dambe jene denje ba ngodam dela cha se lo doni ni je song do ju be lam se je kanje den de chana be mo den je ja zo so wa de zo da ju jin je lo. Thank you. So I hope you are hearing my voice clearly. Okay. Yeah, Venerable Dundubla, you all hearing the voice okay? Clear?
Yes, Geshe.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so like this, to discuss on the exchanging self with others. So I will follow from the Lamrim teaching, the outline, I would say the heading, Lama Tsongkhapa put like this. The training based on the teachings of the conqueror child Shantideva, as I mentioned before, this very lineage, mainly derived from Shantideva and then Nagarjuna, then Manjushri. So it can be presented in many different ways, but here, in accordance with the Lamrim, so there are three headings. First is contemplating the benefit of exchanging self and others, and the faults of not exchanging self and others. Second is the ability to exchange self and others if you accustom yourself to thoughts of doing so. Third, the stages of meditating on how to exchange self and others. Yeah, so for the benefit, Shantideva have stated in Bodhisattva's deeds or the Bodhisattva Avtacharya, saying that whoever wishes to quickly protect self and others must exchange self for others. practice this excellent secret. Whatever worldly joy there is, arise from wishing for others' happiness. Whatever worldly suffering there is, arise from wishing for your own happiness. What need is there to say more? Look at the difference between these two. Ordinary person act for their own welfare. The sage act for others' welfare. If you do not genuinely exchange your own happiness for others' suffering, you will not achieve Buddhahood. And even in cyclic existence, you will have no joy. So this will sum up the entire reason why we need to, self-exchange with others. And this is the benefit why we need to self-exchange with others. So in short, the entire happiness, comes from cherishing others' well-being, from temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness of enlightenment. Entire suffering that we experience, which we do not wish to experience even in the slightest way, that in fact comes from cherishing one's own, welfare by neglecting, concern of others' well-being. So first of all, what it really meaning of self-exchanging with others. So it even though the text will describe later, but what it means is exchanging the attitude, the way how we used to prioritize ourselves first in all the goodness, and in many ways, in many times, may not be in this life, but in the past, from beginningless lifetime, we in fact pursue our own happiness by harming others. Not only neglecting others, ignoring others' well-being, but in the cause of others' suffering, we pursued our own happiness from beginningless lifetime. So that is one of the fruitful accumulation of causes, what bring us, all sort of, samsaric experiences, including, many times in the past, reborn in the hell realm, hungry ghost realm, animal realm. As we all know, the suffering there is unbearable. Even in a human realm, within just this very fortunate human realm, fortunate rebirth that we took in this human realm, what we call as precious human rebirth that you and I have, does not despair freedom from suffering, isn't it? We have so much ups and downs, so much problem. Just imagine just the trouble that we go through with different diseases like COVID, and trouble that we go through with the current crisis of inflation, economic challenges, due to so many negative factors in the world, such as the war, etc. Political crisis, crisis in the family of disagreements, abuse, and then our emotional, even though you and me, we have dharma, we have plenty of Buddha's teaching that can apply in our day-to-day life. We learn quite a lot, and we try to conduct quite a lot of practice as a retreat, as a daily sadhana, but yet throughout the 24 hours there are lots of troubles that we face, isn't it? I don't know about you, but I'm very obvious for me. During the daytime, the emotion is not always up. Sometimes just roller coaster, like just drop down like that. and it can be quite painful. And sometimes there are circumstantial reasons, but sometimes even without the circumstantial reasons, everything is perfect environmentally, but just simply, your emotion just go down like that. Then even when we go to bed, when our gross minds are completely shut, even in the dream state, sometimes we experience nightmares, isn't it? So all these are the due to the karma that we accumulated in the past lifetime, cherishing your own happiness in the cause of others' suffering, like such as eating certain foods that which harms other beings. And if we are not careful, even in this life also, even after we met Dharma, also we do that. Just an example like that, you see. Then, even one moment of satisfaction, that when your enemy experience, obstacles, suffering, then because of jealousy, because of malice, you have sense of satisfaction, even that temporary happiness, so-called as samsaric happiness, in the cause of others' pain, and create unbelievable negative karma, and that result of whatever we are going through, all sort of suffering. So all these are due to the self-cherishing attitude. Is very much due to not able to exchange others. So in any way, what I'm saying here is exchanging self with others is meaning that from now on, now you prioritize others' well-being. It doesn't mean you give up yourself, you give up concerning of your well-being. Some people do misunderstand that when you listen, literally the word self-exchange with others, even just now the quotation that I read, if you don't change yourself with others, then, all the faults will come, So it doesn't mean that you neglect completely about your own well-being. It's simply meaning the priority should be changed. How we used to, care for our own well-being. From now on, first you care for others' well-being, the rest of the other sentient beings' well-being, together with your own well-being, something like that. You see, when you are well trained, later stage, when you develop quite steady foundation on this process of practice, then there the day will come in our way that we literally completely forget about ourselves, completely forget about ourselves, and completely dedicate your body, speech, and mind, everything, in the cause of others' well-being. I can give one example very clear that the such Bodhisattva's level, like our precious Guru, Gyabchen Lama Sopa Rinpoche, look at his dedication, so entirety of his life, of his body, speech, and mind. Everything is about others' well-being. Even Rinpoche's the current the health condition, but his day and night, completely forget about his own body's well-being and dedicate working for the others. It's a very clear example, like that. Then like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, 87 years old, he should be completely retired and relaxed, but then still, even during this COVID kind of difficulty, he engaged in public gatherings and just work for pleasing the rest of the other beings, day and night working for the other beings. So, but as a beginner like myself, and maybe some of you, at the very stage, we have no choice. We have to care for our body. We have to take care of our health. We have to have that concern. Otherwise, we won't able to, pursue the path. We are not up to that stage like our gurus does, you see. And we also have to take care of our basic other rest of the necessities, you see. But that you do that for the cause of oneself being available for the benefit of others. Starting with your own family members. Okay, so that's not difficult, isn't it? You take care of your body, you take care of your mind, you take care of your speech, for the cause of yourself being available with full capability to serve entire numberless sentient beings, starting from your family, your children, your partner, your parents. You see, in any way, we have to, as a family, we need to take care of each other, isn't it? And especially those of parents, they have no choice. They have to take care of their children. And those of your children, grown-up children, it is your responsibility to take care of your parents, isn't it? So therefore, just changing the motivation, that now that I take care of them, so now I take care of my body, speech, and mind, my well-being, in order for me to fully, capable to, take best care for them. And that gradually you expand to your neighborhoods, and the sentient beings that comes in your way in day-to-day life, such as, mosquitoes, such as ants, cockroaches, so you start to take care from your garden, be mindful, of the well-being of the bacteria there, etc. like that, you see. So that is what it means, self-exchanging with others. Change, not you yourself becoming others or other becoming you. The attitude, prioritizing, others' well-being, to yours, like that. Huh? So, yeah, I just interpret briefly here. Whoever wishes quickly protect self and others. So if you want to protect yourself from all the harms, all the sufferings, as well as if you wish to protect, others, in starting from your children, your partner, your parents, then the best method is must exchange self for others. So best method, yeah, which many of us is not familiar with this, whether this method really works or not. So therefore, the Bodhisattva like Shantideva, who have already developed these methods, and in the Paramita Sutra, Buddha have emphasized this teaching again and again. The Buddha himself, Shakyamuni Buddha, even the historical Shakyamuni Buddha himself have developed this method. Then all the great Indian pandits like Nagarjuna, Atisha, Selingba, etc., all of them have developed this method. Like such as the Kadamba Geshe, Geshe Zopa, Chekawa, Chengawa, Sharawa, all these great Kadamba masters, lineage holder, including of Lama Tsongkhapa, and all the great lineage of Kadamba master from all the different, Buddhist, Tibetan Buddhist tradition. They all have actualized, including of the very present, our lineage guru like His Holiness Dalai Lama, they all have developed, this method, So therefore, they are the proof that this method really works. And these are the, they are the proof. You see. So since their life is in the complete exchange of self with others, and they fulfill, their own ultimate goal, enlightenment, and they are even now, even though their physical body is not with us, but like such as this particular quotation is benefiting me and benefiting you. And this will continue to benefit, until the rest of this sentient being actualize Buddhahood, you see. So therefore, this is the best method, you see. So therefore, must exchange self for others, you see. For us, bit difficult for us to kind of have confidence to whether this technique really will work or not. In particularly for us, it's very difficult to, for like person like me, beginner, it's very difficult to digest this kind of teaching because we are accustomed from beginningless lifetimes of cherishing one's own well-being. It's very concrete self-cherishing attitude is there. Never really, experience even one moment of cherishing the well-being of numberless sentient beings genuinely, you see. So therefore, it is kind of alien idea. It is kind of alien idea to us. So therefore, we really need to find evidence that it really works or not, so not just saying here. So the evidence, what I mentioned before, all those masters are the evidence, and sometimes we may think that, oh, Buddha may be possible, Shantideva may be possible, but in today's time, maybe not possible. We may think like that, isn't it? So therefore, my reason of giving example of like such as a living guru, same human body, in the human realm, we can have face-to-face conversation like our gurus, like His Holiness Dalai Lama, and many other, even ordinary practitioners who live their life like this, then they all the time express that they are always in bliss. They are completely free of worries, free of troubles, completely in peace, like that, isn't it? Like just yesterday when His Holiness was giving, at the end of the 1,000 of cherries initiation, His Holiness says that I am completely, in peace. There's no disturbances at all. You see, even though he went through so much difficulties in relation to the crisis in Tibet, etc., but then he able to remain so calm and so peaceful is because of the practice of bodhichitta and emptiness. And the essence of his teaching in the initiation or the advice that he said at the end is that remembering His Holiness Dalai Lama, he said, all of you, he said, remember to practice compassion and the wisdom, you see. So these are the example, okay? So must exchange self or others. Practice this excellent secret, so train in the four exchanging self and others, So these are the secret. Secret means it's very profound, very effective, very powerful practice. This is what it means, secret. Another way is this particular practice is, not everybody can practice. So therefore it is called secret. It is really hard to practice in one way. In another way, it is very, very precious to practice. That's why I call secret. In another way of understanding of secret here, meaning in the past, this kind of teaching is only passed to those ripened disciples. It doesn't really spoken in public because, as I mentioned before, it is so alien to us. People will be shocked. People cannot believe in there's such kind of thing possible. You see, so therefore, the the masters, they only define the ripened disciple and they teach to them only like that. So then whatever worldly joy there is arises from wishing for others' happiness. Even the worldly joy means sensual joy, really satisfying taste from the food or drink, or very, very comfortable, from your blankets, the clothes, or very, very pleasing of, things that you see from your eye, like, the moment when you look around in your room, even though the wall may be empty, but then you feel so wonderful, plain, four walls in your room, or if you have plenty of paintings, and you feel so beautiful, or when you go out, then you enjoy the fragrance of the flowers and the beauty of the flowers, you see. Then also when you hear people's sound, you feel like kind of like secure, there's a people around you, and when you see them in the face to face, you kind of express smile, and people express smile, etc. Then etc. like that. Then when you go to bed, you feel like so comfortable with your bed, and you feel so secure, etc. When you're among with your families, you just feel so lucky that you have family members, etc. etc. All these are worldly pleasure, worldly happiness. When you're able to self-exchange with other, all this really able to highlights in your life. Even in the worldly life, you always experience, all this kind of joy and happiness. You see, you will have this meritorious perspective from your side. Everything looks so wonderful. Everything, you see meaning in everything. You see, you feel so joy all the time, whenever you think of family, you feel joy. Whenever you think of your home, you feel joy. Whenever you think of the park, you feel joy, you see, etc., like that. So these are the result of exchanging self with others, prioritizing others' well-being, from yours. You see, arise from so you say whatever worldly joy there is arise from wishing for others' happiness. Whatever worldly suffering there is arise from wishing for your own happiness. So worldly sufferings is you see, when you again the opposite way, when you look around in a room, if your walls are empty, you feel so cold, you feel very down, empty, you feel like poor, colorless. Then when you look, if you have a lot of paintings, you feel so messy, you say, I don't like this painting, I don't like this color, like everything is negative, So when you think of when you hear the noise from your neighbors or your family, you feel so irritating. It's like so unpleasant, you are so disturbed. And then when you see people, you just feel, annoyed, and you feel kind of like irritated, just simply don't want to see these people's face like that. When we experience, isn't it? When we experience the bad day, everything looks so bad. Isn't it? Then you see, when you look at your garden, you see, you admire other people's garden, but you even how beautiful your own garden is, you just feel like not good enough. You see, if there's a red rose flower in your garden, you just feel fed up of red rose. You rather want pink rose or white roses or whatever. Then the fragrance, you just feel awful. You dislike. You want something else. You're never satisfied, basically. You see, and so all this are the worldly sufferings. And it's all a projection of your mind, projection of your perspective, you see. The reason is these are all due to the self-cherishing attitude, due to self-cherishing attitude, or the self-grasping ignorance is the foundation. Then very much grasped with self-cherishing attitude. Then interpreted all these experiences with the hallucinational mind, such as dissatisfaction, attachment, aversion, etc., like that. You see. So if we are unable to self-exchange with others, our perspective is completely negative, and no happiness in samsara. I mean, no happiness in the worldly sense. Even though whatever samsaric happiness are. Generally is a suffering of change. But again, comparison between the worldly pleasure, worldly happiness, and worldly suffering, then there is, the two categories are there, and comparing the worldly experience of happiness is definitely favorable than the worldly suffering, isn't it? So from that sense, the worldly happiness are also result of virtues, result of merits, you see, that influence our perspective, you see. So therefore, if we wish to not to experience any of worldly suffering, then we should self-exchange with others, you see. Then whatever, then he said, then after that he says, what needs there to say more? Look at the difference between these two. Ordinary person act for their own welfare, and sage act for others' welfare. You see, the example, the proof is the true difference between ordinary people like myself and the Buddhas and our gurus. You see, they only enjoy peace and happiness. Their life is completely, altruism. Their mind, their life is completely, altruistic life. You see, they're not only able to bring great benefit in their own life, but they're able to bring even greater benefit in the rest of the other beings' life. You see, and they're always in peace. They're always laughing. They're always happy, smiling. Everything's pure. But then look at me. Everything is negative. Everything is miserable. You see. So these two are the evidence of someone who is able to self-exchange with others, and someone who are unable to self-exchange with others, or saying like that. And if you do not genuinely self-exchange your own happiness for others' suffering, you will not achieve Buddhahood. Then, if you don't completely exchange yourself, the attitude, completely let go of self-cherishing attitude, and actualize the altruistic, or the great compassion of bodhichitta, then one will not achieve state of full enlightenment. And as I mentioned in the introduction, until we achieve Buddhahood, even you are Arya Bodhisattva, you have not fulfilled entire goal of your life and your spirituality. No question about fulfilling others' spiritual goal, which is also enlightenment. See, and even in silent existence, you will have no joy. So this is, as I mentioned before. So no question about enlightenment when you are unable to self-exchange to other. No question about no enlightenment. Even in samsara, those samsaric sensual happiness also, you're unable to achieve it like that. So then the second is the ability to exchange stuff in others if you accustom yourself the thought of doing so. So then after knowing that, wow, that sounds amazing, that if I'm able to self-exchange with others, then I will experience happiness after happiness, from temporary happiness up to ultimate happiness and enlightenment. You see, I will be capable to benefit not only myself, but rest of the other sentient being, starting from my loved ones. How wonderful it is. But then the question is really possible that one can really self-exchange with others? So the question may arise, isn't it? Even though we have already discussed about the evidence, so many things, we talk about it. But then again, to simply confirm that I can do it, I can exchange it. So here, again, Shantideva's Bodhisattva's deeds or Bodhisattva Charya says, do not turn away from this difficulty. Although you were frightened upon hearing someone's name, now due to the power of conditioning, you dislike the person's absent. So you see, so here simply meaning, do not discourage yourself, do not turn away from this difficulty. Yes, it is difficult to self-change with others. Yes, but do not turn away. And definitely one will be able to change. One simple example in our life, there are people in our life, really experience with me, and I'm sure experience with many of yourself. although you were frightened upon hearing someone's name, you know, could be so-called as your enemy in the past, you know. But then now, due to the power of conditioning, you know, due to maturity of your mind, or due to understanding of karma, you know, due to basic understanding of the meaning of compassion, or due to understanding of that the others are in crisis. That's why, you know, they react very badly towards others, and that I was the victim of them, that person. So understanding all these conditional circumstances, and you start to feel compassion to this particular person to whom you used to hate before, you know, and you feel empathy to this person, you know. Then so you see, so like that kind of experience, you know, we do experience, isn't it? In certain case, there's certain people that we never know them before, or worse than that, we have hated them before, but at this very present, they completely turn into your most loving person, you know, most adorable person, and you really feel, you know, dislike that person's absent, you know. You don't want to separate with this person even for a moment, you know. It happens like that, you know. You see, you know, there's, you know, like my, you know, there's one senior monk who used to be discipliner, how to say, the captain, you know. So when I was little, you know, this captain was a very tough guy. So it can be very tough on you. So you hated that person so much, you know, you hated the person so much. But then you say, I mean, there's a long story, but you know, just tell you the brief. So during this monk was captain, myself and many of our peers are memorizing 21 Tara praises. So this captain is so harsh that, you know, if, you know, when he takes exam on you, that you have to be fluent in the memorization. If there's even slightest mistake, you know, he will beat you up. You see, so we of course we don't like, you know, this young monk, we don't like this beatings, you know, we don't like this, you know, harshness, isn't it? So we, most of us, you know, including you know, especially me, got a lot of beating that time. But then that time it developed so much anger to this monk, saying that may I grow faster and be strong, so then I will take revenge on him, you know. He is the worst person in whole world to me, like that. But then after, you know, 15, 20 years later, so this monk went to do translation in one of the center in Southeast Asia. So I was, you know, traveling with my late teacher to Taiwan, and we spent, you know, few days in his center, you know. So that was in Singapore center. So with the previous, you know, the resident teacher, and he was translator to him. So then that time, already throughout those some years, I experienced that there's one prayer that you never forget, the fluentness, which is 21 Tara praises. You know, then I realized that it's because of the toughness that he did to me, and that's the main reason that the imprint is so strong of 21 Tara praises that I will never forget. You know, it's so strong imprint, and I start to feel gratitude to him. You know, and I start to, then after that, you know, we listen so many teachings, you know, even those who teach you alphabet, so that which make you able to read the Dharma texts and practices, and especially when you talk about prayers, is, you know, is actual spiritual scriptures, isn't it? So to regard them as your teacher. So I start to even visualize this monk in the one of the merit field, and start to, you know, devote to him, and start to make veneration to him, you know. so then, like this monk to whom I hate so much now become one of the most liking person, most venerable person. And I really want to, spend time with him, talk to him, and you feel kind of like so precious, even to be with him for a moment, that kind of thing. You see, so that's how it changes. It changes. So it changes with the conditioning. What here it means. So these are like a reason, and many people have their own different stories. Some lay people. They hate their partner so much, but then after that they realize their flaws, your own flaws, and you start to patch back, and that person become again the most loving person in your life, or you have a very bad relation with your children, but then when you grow older, somehow your children is the most precious, most loving person, etc., etc. So there's so many examples. So the similar thing, self-exchanging with other, the prioritizing of others upon your own, self and well-being is difficult, but it is definitely possible. So this is what it's saying. Then from the same text, it says, it is not difficult to consider my body with the perspective I have towards another body. So this is again very, 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 very nice analogy. And Lama Tsongkhapa in Lamrim Chemo, it says, what the meaning of these two lines, even though it was produced from the body, our body, even though it was produced from portions of someone else's body, you conceive it to be your own by the influence of previous conditioning. So our body, we claim as my body, but in actual fact, this body is not your body, or at least portion of it is not your body, or the basis of the body is not your body. Definitely, it is belong to your father, mother. It is actualized from the father, mother's, sperm and egg. You see, and that is not carrying, from previous life to this life by you. It is coming from someone else, and some more semen and the eggs are physical entity. So, and this is the father, mother who are other than you, other than you. They are part of part of their body. So it is not yours, you see. So on the basis of that, then it developed into the body that what we have. In fact, the gene is actually belong to them. What you really own by yourself is simply the conscious continuum from the past, you see. And that conscious very much rendered that this body that which is coming from our parents during this period of our lifetime. But then yet we claim it is my body, it's my body. We will never say that this body is my father's body, my mother's body, isn't it? It's my body. And very much whatever we do in our life, we really invest entire our life to take care of this body, isn't it? We work so hard to have a shelter on our roof is to protect this body, isn't it? If we don't have this body, if it's only consciousness, we don't need house. We can live anywhere. We don't have to worry about the rain. We don't have to worry about the sun, the heat. The conscious, the physicalness won't be affected by elements, isn't it? But this body that which is belonging to our parents, if exposed to sun, is too hot. If exposed to rain, will get wet. So we need home, isn't it? And we work whole life to have a home, working for this body. You see, then the portion of our life is work for work for our consumption, the foods and drinks, isn't it? Majority of our earnings goes to buying home and buying buying foods and drinks, isn't it? Isn't it? Then even if you have car, you see, if we don't have this body, if we have only our what really belongs to us, which is the consciousness, we don't need car. We can run faster than the car. We can reach anywhere without any obstruction. You see, but in buying car also because for this body, because we have this body, that's why we have to, we have to, we really need a car to go, fly airplane, etc. like that. You see, so therefore, this body is, in fact, is not ours. Is someone else, our parents. You see, but we cherish. We work whole life to take care of this. You see, whole life. All the very much 24 hours. We working for to protect this body. You see, so obvious, isn't it? So therefore, similarly, if you become accustomed to cherishing another's body, our parents' body, as you presently do to do your own, you will view it with the same perspective that you now have towards your own body. Okay. Anyway, so therefore, you see how much cherishing the well-being of your body now, which is in fact is not yours. That itself is a proof that you can cherish the well-being of others' bodies, other beings, since their body is not yours. That is their body. Their bodies are others' body. But if you train yourself to cherish cherish the importance, like how you take importance of the present body of yours, you can do that to similar to rest of the other sentient beings. Again, that very logical. You start, when we learned last class, when we learn about the 7 cause and effect, the first one is recognizing all sentient beings as your mother, then caring for them, isn't it? Remembering their kindness, repaying their kindness, etc. So now here, the physical body you rented from your parent, you can care so much how you do now to your body. Then the body that your present mother has and your father has is not different from the body that you have now. In fact, you are simply claiming your body. In fact, the body of the parent and body of what you have is, in fact, is the same entity, the same substance. So on the basis of that, now you protect your life, very much protecting, your very much the conventional existence. You can do similar thing. You can do similar thing to your parent with that reason. So there's a logic, isn't it? With that reason. Now, if you relate your brother, sister, and you relate to rest of the humanity, rest of the sentient being, on the basis of beginningless lifetime, you go back to your previous lifetime, then each and every one of them has been your parent and rendered their body to you, and you used to protect them as like yours, like how you do now of your current parent's body. Through that logic, you can able to develop the cherishing and the protecting of the well-being of the rest of the other sentient beings, genuinely. You see, so this is what it meant. You see, so there's a logic, isn't it? So after what Lama Tsongkhapa said, that the interpretation of the earlier 2 words, then there's another quotation from Shantideva's Bodhisattva Charya. Therefore, just as you conceive I with respect to the drop of cement and the blood of others, so you can be conditioned to cherish others as you do yourself. So that's exactly, what we discussed before. So, so in this sense, we can definitely able to cherish all other sentient beings, like how you cherish yourself. How you work 24 hours. Day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, whole life we work to protect ourselves is very much this conventional aggregates and the identity that we carry on it. We can do similar on the basis of this reason. We can do similar working for 24 hours, throughout entire life for the benefit of the rest of the other sentient beings. So it's very, very, very nice logic, very nice reasoning, isn't it? Yeah, so in short, we can definitely exchange self with others. So now the third, the stages of meditation on how to exchange self with others. Here, Lama Tsongkhapa said in Lamrim, the phrases exchanging self in others and making oneself others and other oneself do not indicate a training in attitude which I am others or others I, etc. are mind. They indicate the change in the orientations of the two state of mind of cherishing yourself and neglecting others, wherein you develop the attitude of cherishing others as you presently do yourself and neglecting yourself as you presently do others. So even though here the one word neglecting yourself, that again doesn't mean, literally neglecting yourself and only, care for others. It doesn't mean, as I already explained at the beginning, the neglecting, the prioritizing yourself first for your own well-being, that has to be neglected. It doesn't mean neglect yourself completely in the concern of, concerning for the well-being of yourself. Now the prioritize others, but you neglect the prioritizing yourself first. You can still, you are part of those numberless sentient beings, but not the priority. So that's the attitude that we have to exchange. Okay, so now in order to do that, there are two obstacles to training in the attitude of exchanging self and others. So it's very important to know the obstacles. So first one in the Lamrim, it says, you make a categorized differentiation between people who are happy or suffering, yourself and others, making them as different as blue and yellow. Then you accomplish your happiness and remove your suffering because you think of them as mine, and you neglect others' happiness and suffering because you think of them as belonging to others. So, finding differences, the conventional differences, we have to neglect that. We have to overcome that. We have to get rid of them from our idea, which even in this, ordinary human society, most of the problems, are created because of, making those differences, black and white, mine and others, you see, my country, your country, you see, etc. Even those, what do you call the, my culture, your culture, you see, because of bringing too many differences and grasping on it, like in different cultures, different ethnics, different race, different colors, different nations. So because of that, the conflict in the world, including of the war, etc. The racism, etc. All these problems comes from there. So when someone who want to develop bodhichitta, then especially all these kind of ideas are the worst toxic. So these are worst obstacles. So we need to overcome them. we try to always find mutual, ground, mutual qualities. As a Buddhist practitioner, then the very first mutual peaceful ground is for us to understand everyone carry Buddha nature. So in that sense, those who pursue, Mahayanic, altruistic Buddhist path, Mahayanic Dharma, then even those bad people, we don't have a hatred on them. We don't neglect them. You see, we understand the faults of the cloud of delusion and karma that falls on them, and they do wrong thing. And understanding that, we rather, they become rather our object of compassion rather than hate. And more than that, understanding their potential is Buddha potential, Buddha nature. So therefore, ultimately, good people and the bad people in the conventional world, ultimately they carry the same potential, same nature. The false is not by the person's continuum. The false is, very much by the hallucinational, temporary obscurational disturbances such as delusions and karma. You see, so therefore, everyone is object of our compassion. No one is object of our hates, or bias, etc. Like that. So you apply this to overall sentient being. Even someone is in the hell and someone in the God realm. For the object of compassion, they are equal. Even someone is, bad in the human realm, someone is so beneficial to you, ultimately they are the same object of your respect, object of your compassion. You see, then within our own family, some may be treating you better, some may treat you worse, but in the eyes of compassion, they are equal. They are equal. Equally they carry the Buddha nature, and equally why one child don't like you, why another child love you. The another child love you because has a less obscurational, delusion. The another child that hates you has more, temporary obscurational, influence of karma and delusion. Just simply because of that. The ultimate nature of that being is Buddha nature. You see, then you gradually bring to even closer, understanding that there's no you and me that has to be differentiated, because it's simply the labeling on the conventional language. But ultimately, me and you is the same. My ultimate nature, your ultimate nature is one taste. Buddha nature. You see, Buddha nature. The different bases that I carry and you carry is very much the influence of the past karma that develop into even like woman and man, or two siblings. But ultimately we are same. You see, so then from there, then you develop the heart of equanimity of me and all sentient beings are in fact in fact it's the same. No differences. Ultimately, you see. So yeah, so this is the way to overcome this partial kind of attitude. So here in Lama Tsongkhapa give a remedy in his word. It says, therefore, the remedy for this is not to make a categorize distinction between self and others as being essentially different. Essentially different means ultimately different. As already mentioned, ultimately same. Rather, understand that self and others are mutually dependent, such that when you are aware of self, you are aware of others. So here, in particularly, good to remember the wisdom aspect of understanding, interconnectivityness, interdependent arising. That is another core, core teachings of the Buddha Dharma to make sensible, understandable about what means karma, what means cause and effect, what means the ultimate oneness of all beings, like one taste. Even this very beginning basis all sentient beings are one taste of your ultimate, basis. Then even in the resultant stage, when we become Buddha, all of us will become in one taste of enlightened quality, the Dharmakaya, you see. Yeah. So you see, then even in the conventional aspect, my happiness, my present happiness is dependent on others' being. You see, all this emotional, even this temporary pleasure and happiness. If there's no other beings out there, you will not have all those experiences. Because of other being, then you have all those experiences, including of the those uncontaminated happiness of liberation, or cessations, and including of enlightenment, are actualized dependent on other sentient being by developing bodhichitta, developing those practice of Bodhisattva vows, practice of sixth perfection, you see. So practice of sixth perfection, they cannot be practiced, the method aspect, without relying on others, such as morality, generosity, patience, joyous effort, all this, without relying on others, you won't able to accomplish them, you see. So all the happiness, temporary to ultimate, everything comes dependent on others. So from that point of view also, you and others are no difference. Then it says, and when you are aware of others, you are aware of self, you see. So that's how it works. It is like being aware of near mountain and distant mountain. For example, relative to your being here, you think of a mountain there in the distance as being a distant mountain. Yet when you go to this distant mountain, you think of it as a near mountain. So it's simply is perspective. Its meaning is simply perspective. Where you put your position. If you put all your happiness is coming from others, then every other being becomes so near, like you are very much being next moment to the mountain that which you regard a distant mountain, but yet at that point, it's in fact is nearest mountain, and then the near mountain before become further away. You see, so it's very much perspective. So it's saying like that. To support this, Shantideva's another great composition called the Compendium of Training says, by becoming accustomed to the quality of self and others, the spirit of enlightenment becomes firm. Self and others are interdependent. As mentioned before, many ways of interdependency can be understood. Like this side and other side of the river, they are false. So you see, the differentiation of this side and other sides as intrinsic is a false. And, understanding self and others are completely, intrinsic by its own nature is a false, you see. So ultimately, it's just a perspective, The other bank is not in itself others. In relation to someone else, it is this bank. Similarly, self does not exist in its own right. In relation to someone else, it is others. So like that. Now the second obstacle, it says, you must remove the obstacle of thinking, I will not make an effort to dispel others' suffering because others' suffering does not harm me. So those are excuses that, we have. So the main obstacle is, I will not make an effort to dispel others' suffering because others' suffering does not harm me. So if in that case, it would be like not accumulating wealth in your youth out of fear of suffering in your old age, because you think that your suffering in old age does not harm to you in your youth. Or as stated in engaging in Bodhisattva's deeds, it would be like not elevating the pain in your foot with your hand, because your foot is others than the hand. So like that, sometimes we have a very silly kind of excuses. Mhm. Then Lama Tsongkhapa said, after you have eliminated the obstacle to exchange self and others in this way, the actual way to meditate is as follows. It's out of attachment to self. Your self-cherishing attitude has produced all sorts of undesirable things throughout the beginningless time of self-existence up to now. Think like that. Meditate like that. Although you wanted to make things perfect for yourself, you emphasize your own welfare and engage in appropriate method, sometimes even in the cause of other suffering, as I mentioned before. So meditate like that, try to understand like that. As I give an analogy before, even in this life, even certain food, for our own enjoyment, we don't mind the other animals, they get hurt, So all these are good meditation idea. Then the text says, you have spent countless eons at this, but have not at all accomplished your own or others' aim. You see, we've been in the similar situation where we are now for countless eons of time. And still, we all know life is a bit feel empty, isn't it? We still feel there's a lot to achieve, but it's as if nothing ever achieved. Especially in our spiritual practice, we realize that we are quite empty-handed, isn't it? Why like that? So not only have you not achieved this, you have been tormented only by suffering. So not only achieving our fulfillments in our life from beginningless lifetime, on top of that, we always went through unbelievable troubles, sufferings. And as I give an analogy before, even this life, so much roller coaster things happening, isn't it? Like that. So those are the meditation idea. If you had replaced concern for your own welfare with concern for others' welfare, you would certainly have already become a Buddha long ago and would have completely and perfectly accomplished your own aim as well as those of others. If we follow exactly how Shakyamuni Buddha did, if we follow how the young lady Geshe Zopa, who eventually become Mother Tara, if we follow the young lady Mapelmo, then by now we become Gelong Mapelmo, who is already enlightened. The Gelong Mapelmo who actualize the Nyungne practice, like that, If we follow the footsteps of like Milarepa, by now we'll be enlightened, so like that, like that, you see. If we follow their footsteps, then, not only fulfilling our own wishes, we're also able to fulfill others' wishes, ultimate wishes, you see, like that. As you did not do this, you have spent your time uselessly and laboriously, you see. So, like myself, because of unable to follow the footsteps of the past, those wise beings, then, beginningless lifetime, spend your life uselessly. Not only that, laboriously, especially, always stay under the control of always stay under the control of karma and delusion. You see, there's so many things you do not wish to experience. It comes in your way without any choice. You see, so many things that you want to actualize, but there's so much abundance obstacle never to happen. What you wish. So because of we are completely under the domination of karma and delusion because of that, you see, and that is the mistake because we didn't follow the footsteps of those wise ones. So these are the meditation. You see, now make a firm determination by thinking like this, meditate like this. Now I understand the faults of self-cherishing and the benefit of cherishing others with great effort. Great effort. You must, we have to put great effort. Relying on mindfulness and vigilance, must be mindful and must be, vigilant, introspection in our day-to-day life, day-to-day actions of body, spirit, and mind. I will discontinue the present self-cherishing, making sure with the help of strong vigilance, strong mindfulness, and strong effort, I will make sure discontinue the presence of this harmful attitude called self-cherishing attitude. So this self-cherishing attitude, comes in so many different forms, in the form of anger, in the form of attachment, desire, in the form of jealousy, in the form of pride, ego, in the form of, laziness, in the form of hallucination, in the form of, so many different phases of delusion that we usually comes in our way. All these are the different phases, different masks of the self-cherishing attitude. So you see, so we have to understand that. So now the mindfulness and vigilance, we have to always be vigilant whenever this kind of when these phases of different self-cherishing attitude arises, then we have to be firm mindfulness and put a great effort to not to live a life of those attitudes, rather put effort to discontinue them. Then also regard my greatest enemy, and I will not allow any potential self-cherishing to arise. So you have, regard, the way how you protect yourself from self-cherishing attitude is like how you protect from the greatest enemy. So you understand the greatest enemy is not outside there, it is self-cherishing attitude in your conception, you see. And I will not allow any potential of self-cherishing to arise, any potential, you see, any potential, in whatever all those different phases I just mentioned, In this way, frequently stop self-cherishing. This is the way how you meditate, you repeat again and again, and then eventually you will be able to full stop to the self-cherishing attitude. So, in Shantideva Bodhisattva's way of life, it says, self-cherishing has harmed me in all my myriad lifetime in silent existence. You all mine, though you spend countless years wanting to accomplish your own welfare, through such great hardship, you have accomplished only suffering. If formerly you had acted for others' welfare, this condition, which lacks the perfect happiness of Buddhahood, could not possibly have occurred. So either you can memorize these two, quotations with the verses, the quotation from Shantideva Bodhisattva's way of life, or the meditational guide that Lama Tsongkhapa emphasized in Lamrim. You can use this to meditate. Yeah. Yes, so use this as a meditation guide, and through this meditation, then you able to, eliminate self-cherishing attitude and actualize the self-exchanging with others, So just to recap, the point is, first you have, as I guided in the last session, the preliminary practice of neutralizing your mind, similar way. The equanimity, the equanimity of, equanimity from the partial attitude, three partial attitude, and equanimity of compassion. You see, so on the basis of that, then first you neutralize neutralize this three brush attitude, meditate on that. Then secondly, you emphasize the disadvantage of self-cherishing attitude. Then third is you emphasize all the benefit and advantage of the cherishing others' well-being, as we discussed before. Then the third or the fourth is actually try to self-exchange others. So in order to do that, try to take the meditation guide that we just went through now. You use that to contemplate as much as possible. Certain period you do analytical meditation using all the reasons, all the knowledge that you learn from scripture, and also from the examples. Try to convince yourself the absolute force of self-cherishing and absolute benefit of cherishing others' well-being. Then once you come to a point that you're completely convinced and there's a sense of settledness in your heart, sense of as if you are already achieved the benefit of self-exchanging with others, then you do single-pointed meditation on that as much as possible, 5-10 minutes or half an hour, 2 hours, whatever, and train that again and again. And this is how that you eventually will realize the 4 points self-exchanging with others. And once you realize that, then you will result in developing bodhichitta. Then the supplementary practice once in a while, it's good to do tonglen practice. That way, tonglen is taking a given practice. That way boosts, the merits. So with the help of those abundance of merit, then the meditation on self-exchanging with others, including of resulting bodhichitta, will be more effective. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think the time is over, so I better stop here. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, we can do some question and answer, or otherwise we can stop here. Thank you. So maybe hopefully by next session, so we will go through one by one of the 18 root vows of the Bodhisattva vows. Thank you. Any question?
Michael, did you have a question?
No.
Amanda has a question, Geshe.
Sure, welcome.
Hello. I was just wondering could you give us the verse that we could memorize, like how to find that so I can write it out?
Sure. Okay, if you are, I'm sure you may have, otherwise you can just, maybe one of these brother sister may have the Lamrim Chemo, Lama Tsongkhapa's great treatise on the stages of the path to enlightenment, Lamrim Chemo, volume 2. Volume 2, I would suggest you to read from page 51. Page 51 to page 60. So you read there, all the quotations are there.
Could you give me the first 3 words or 4 words on page 51, just in case the page numbers are different?
Okay, sure. It says exchanging self and others.
Okay.
So that is the name of the chapter.
Okay. And
then,
sorry. You mentioned a Shantideva's verse too?
Yes, and the Shantideva's verse are, there's 3 headings that Lama Tsongkhapa have mentioned: contemplating the benefit of exchanging self and others, and the faults of not exchanging self and others. That's the first heading. Second heading is ability to exchange self and others. If you accustom yourself to thought of doing so, then the meditation. So for the first, contemplating the benefit, Shantideva stated, whoever wish to quickly protect self and others must exchange self for others. Practice this excellent secret. Then you continue another 3 more verses. and you will have the full quotation for that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Then there are a few other quotations. If you look at the text, then you will easily find, instead of searching here and there from other texts, in Lamrim you can find very easily. Is that okay?
Yes, that's very okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is the text I show you. There's this type, by Snowline publication.
Okay, Snowline. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Geshe-la, there's one more question, and it's in the chat box from Tipton Pemo. When we do things to take care of ourselves, how do we do this without being selfish?
Oh, I see. So you do things for yourself in order to be, capable yourself to, benefit others, like such as anything that you take care for your physical health, mental health. There are a lot of things that we have to acquire for, isn't it? And because you can able to benefit others when you have a good physical and mental health. If you are in a correct, in your comfortable position, then you can able to bring a lot of comfortability to others, isn't it? When you are messed up, your health is messed up, and even you wish to benefit others, it's very difficult, isn't it? So it's very much the motivation, the purpose. I eat this food in order for me to have a healthy body, in order to serve for the well-being of others' happiness in my best ability. Also, I consume this food in order to secure this precious human body, so that I can able to continue to practice Dharma, accumulate merit, purify karma, and actualize enlightenment for the benefit of all other sentient beings. So that way, all the things that you do for yourself become free of self-centeredness. Thank you.
Okay, I think that's the questions for tonight, Geshe-la.
Okay, thank you. So we do short dedication. So I think many of you are familiar with, usual dedication. So please do that in heart. I will recite some dedication prayers. So in short, we dedicate, just like the Bodhisattva Samanabhadra, Bodhisattva Cherezik, how they dedicate their merits, like how Kyabje Lama Sopa Rinpoche would dedicate the merit, we dedicate the same way. Then also we understand the dedicator ourselves, the merit and the purpose all lies in the nature of emptiness. Oh, Jawa de Nyodo da Lama Sanje Dubyo ne Dowa Jenya Maluba de Sala Goberjo, Chancho Simjorim Boje Maje Panam Jeju Chawanya Pameba Yangone Kondo Pevacho Tony Tawarim Boje Maje Panam Jeju Chawanya Pameba Yangone Kondo Pevacho Tawarim Boje Maje Panam Jeju Chawanya Pameba Yangone Kondo Pevarai So Gari Rave Kove Shingam de Pendan Dewa Mali Jum and Cheresima Tenzin Jazo Shabe Sede Pado Denjurji. Tupso Shaja Jango Jave Tenzin Jobe Gozo Dobo Chozon Gove Lemon to Doba Daso de Je Gundo Shab de Shojabe Bawa Jeta Kembado Kundo Sambo de and Dejita Kujizo Daloji. Jawa de Damje Rabdongo, the Zojepe Jawa Damje de Ngo, Gano Jodongo, the Taji Jeve Zawan de Gunja Sambo Chijiram do Ngovaji, Pamasimje Damje Tenda Denjurje, and Rodamje Tado Don, the Jaju Semba Gana Sujo. The Dagunja Molando Joje, and Nebajin Banyo Donella Taju, and Nemalu Patado Juan Mebara, show. Bedanzo Amiga Beijin, or Bazanja Semjera, or Gunza, Samba Jujin to Betaji show, Tayado Benzadia of the Buddhism to the Zam is the title of the Buddhism, the title of the Buddhism. 옴도르도 자미도 좀 대자바라 좀 만다 봐도 배선 영어도 몰라도 지라도 배치가 몰라 찾아서 매조세제 자베지라도 때려로 하면 되면 다지 라산다 배도 남담은 배내근 조교로 이제 담바지 된 감도 정만나 때만 예외신도 사와예 된제 볼로지도 담바 요랬네 다시 쇼 니몬델레 젠델레 니면 고얀델레 진제다도 델레 본조 숨게 다시 쇼. Thank you very much. Take care and good night. See you.